Dave Seeks Christ has a question. I am a late 20s Christian man struggling with anxiety in dating. As things progress, I tend to overanalyze everything and determine if I can marry the girl, and things end about 3 months in. Any scriptural advice? Biblically speaking, the method we have of finding somebody to marry. Gosh, there's so many things I want to tell you. I'll just briefly throw some stuff out there. I hope it helps you, Dave. Okay, I really do. Biblically speaking, marriage is a commitment to a long-term permanent relationship. Rain or what am I looking for? Whether things are good or bad. Rain or not rain. What's the term? What you guys know the term? I can't think of it. Marriage is a commitment. It is not based upon, I will find the perfect person, we will evaluate each other, I will figure out who's just best for me, and then we'll be happy. Also, there's a weird thing we have nowadays, and I don't know how we got there. Maybe it was Disney, maybe it was Hollywood, maybe it was our own sort of dreams. But we often think, if I find the right fit, I will have a happy marriage. There's some truth to this, right? Like, there are certainly some people who you could probably never really be happy with because of just the way that they are and the way that you are. But this idea that there is sort of like a person who will fit me properly can lead us, if you have this idea in your head, can lead you into a very disappointed marriage where you think, I expected it to be easier than this. I expected it to be less work than this. I expected them to be able to join with me in a way that fit me a lot better than this does. And that mentality, that expectation is dangerous. So when I've heard someone say recently, they were saying something like, we made happiness the main goal of marriage, personal happiness, and therefore we made I'm not happy legitimate reason for divorce. And I thought there was a pound of wisdom in that. There really was. I want to be happy in my marriage. I do not have to be happy in my marriage. Because marriage is not primarily about me. It's primarily about God. It's primarily about Christ and the church. Any of these girls that you've been 2 to 3 months in with, you could have gotten married to, and you could have honored God in that marriage. There's going to be bumps in every marriage. And whatever perfect situation you think you've got, you most likely are not going to have that once you actually get married. And you're going to go, wow, first year marriage, I'm discovering lots of things I wish I had known ahead of time. I thought I was able to suss out all the problems, but no, a whole bunch of new ones popped up after we got married. And I'm like, that's normal, guys. That's normal marriage, right? You weren't one yet. You became one, and now you're like, wow, there's some things. That's normal, and that's okay. It's also true, Proverbs talks about like this sort of ideal wife, Proverbs 31. That's more about the kind of woman, you want to try to find someone who's like that, sure. But you also want to try to be that if you're a woman. Then Proverbs, guess what? Proverbs chapter 1 all the way through the rest of the book of Proverbs talks about sort of an ideal man. And that guy is that you? That's important for you to work on those things, Dave, to be honest. Your own spiritual disciplines, your own integrity. Single people, we have level. Let me say something else that might be bothersome to people, and I don't mean it to be. But we have levels of self-delusion in our lives, and there are certain actions and things that happen that change that level of delusion. One of them is marriage. So single people have probably the greatest sense of, let me put it this way, single people have probably the greatest lack of self-awareness. Not always, but when you're single, you tend to be less aware of yourself and your own motives because nobody's pushing on you. Not the way you are when you're married. When people get married, they tend to find out that they've got issues they didn't even know about. And their spouse finds out they had issues they didn't know about because you didn't even know about them. This colliding of interpersonal space and needs and hopes and dreams is going to bring up stuff. That's natural. Single people tend to have the comfort of thinking they're more spiritual than they are because they're simply not pressed in these areas. Doesn't mean that single people are self-righteous. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, when I got married, I found out more about my own insecurities than I ever knew when I was single. When I got married, I found out more about my selfishness and my desire for whatever than I knew when I was single. It just wasn't an issue before because nobody was stopping my self-pursuits because you're single. When you get kids, this happens again. Married people without kids have a different sort of awareness of themselves than married people with kids. People who have more responsibilities for others have more awareness of their own issues. That's natural. So marriage is rocky. It's good. It's worth it. It's amazing. It's better than anybody says, but it's also inherently going to stir things up in you that are rough. I say that, you say, I'm a late 20s Christian man struggling with anxiety and dating. Just accept it. Accept the anxiety of I'll get married. It will not be perfect. I will have problems. She will have problems. We will work together to try to overcome them. It won't come with special soundtracks and Disney quotes. It will be a real marriage. The best thing I can do is learn to be selfless and not worry about myself that much, and focus on blessing and taking care of and ministering to others. This is advice I tell myself too. It's a good reminder today. The other advice I would give to you, Dave, is go find older Christian men who are married and ask them. Don't talk to guys your age who are also single. Talk to men who are married and tell them, so these are the things I'm looking for. These are the things I'm worried about. Tell them about the relationship you have, and if they think it's wisdom, get somebody to help you with wisdom through the specific situation, that specific girl, and just confide in them and tell them the stuff you got going on. Yeah. I hope that helps, man. All right, number 6.